For sure.
Yeah. Okay, roll call. I can do roll call. Mike Green. Here. Pam Schumeyer.
Here.
Bruce Cantor.
Yep.
Dan Suggs.
Here.
Danielle Huey.
Here.
Charlotte and Patricia are not going to be here, so. And Fred Prawn.
Yes.
Motion to excuse the absentees.
Second?
I mean, I'm making it.
Yeah, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, sorry. All right.
We're just
Okay,
moving things
motion
along.
carries. Yep. Approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to
Second.
approve and support. All's in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Approval of the November minutes.
Just one correction, and it's very minor, but my last name is Sugg, not Suggs.
Okay.
So I know that's a common misspelling, but we
Yeah,
could
and I have
fix
two
that.
corrections on page 3. My name is spelled 2 different ways. 2 ways it's never been spelled before. Bruce Candor, I've never been accused of having candor. And then Bruce Cantor at the bottom, so.
But with those corrections in mind, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 15th meeting.
Second.
All right, any support? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Public comment?
You gotta come up to the next thing, right?
Just a suggestion about the layout of the agenda. You've got public comments before anything happens, and then public comments after the consent agenda, but nothing after old or new business. I would just suggest moving that second public comment to somewhere other than where it is, so people can make a comment about what has already happened, or what's happening that they have no idea of. That's all.
Thank you.
I guess I only see one public comment. Was there a second one?
Yeah, it was put under item 7, but it should have been actually put after item 9
Oh, okay.
or item 10. Yeah.
Well, I didn't see, I'm,
All right. Well, I guess,
Oh.
you know,
That's where it used to be.
Yeah, I think it was just a formatting error when the
Yeah.
agenda got created.
well,
so-
I think if I had been looking at the DDA minutes agenda rather than the Planning Commission agenda, maybe,
You would have said.
maybe I would have seen it, yeah. Okay.
All right, so noted.
sure.
Thank you.
And to an extent, we have the flexibility, right? I mean, if somebody
Yeah.
has something to say today, you know, after old new business, we can accommodate that. All right. Public comments. The RRC presentation.
Yes, so part of the redevelopment ready community certification that the city once had, which is certification through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation for best practices in community and economic development, and also for creating a process that is very transparent to developers, that they know what to expect, and then the city knows what to expect from them. We are in the process of getting our certification recertified now and getting good standing. We met with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation about 2 or 3 weeks ago about what we needed to do to get back in standing. So as part of this, we are going to be giving updates to the Planning Commission, Council, and here the DDA. You are the first committee to receive it. And it's also going to go over why the benefits of the program, a little background in it, and then also a little bit about what we got to do to get our standing back in order. So Thomas Kidney, our CD intern, put together a presentation, and he is going to give it to us today.
Like Austin said, you guys are going to be my trial run, so tell me how I do. So, welcome to the RRC. This has been, thank you, it's been kind of a fun thing for me to go over, but thanks to Austin and the city of Lathrup Village, I have actually been, I've received my certification in redevelopment ready community, so I am now a RRC certified member and someone who is able to give you guys a pretty accurate representation of what we're going to be doing here. So what does RRC stand for? As we've gone over, it is a redevelopment ready community. It is formed by the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, MEDC, and it's a program that assists communities in furthering and improving their development practices. The goal is to attract new investors, businesses, and residents overall, growing the community in strategic approaches, and ultimately what we're trying to do is improve our downtown and make it a more walkable and more pleasant downtown to go through. There is going to be a lot more that we're shooting for, but the first, our first step is kind of with downtown. They do offer, the MEDC through the RRC offers technical assistances and guidances through their best practices, and honestly it's just super helpful for us, and it's going to be helpful for you guys as well. Everyone wants to go? Perfect. So why do we want to become redevelopment ready? Well, this is per the MEDC webpage. To become vibrant and competitive, Michigan communities must be ready for development. This involves planning for new investments and reinvestment, identifying assets and opportunities, and focusing limited resources. Certified redevelopment-ready communities attract and retain businesses, offer superior customer service, and have a streamlined development approval process, making pertinent information available around the clock for anyone to view. That last part is pretty relevant for DDA and Planning Commission. I'm sure you guys have had a ton of questions that have come up with developments that have happened, that have been proposed, and the MEDC provides training that I'm going to be covering over in a few minutes. So why are we talking about it? Well, as you guys know, I'm relatively new here. This is my second month on, and one of the biggest criticisms I've heard from residents is that the city, the staff, the boards, the government overall doesn't communicate. There is not enough transparency. Whether or not this is true is not for me to decide. I'm not the arbiter of truth. But hearing these criticisms is at the very least distressing. So what I'm doing is I'm tasking myself with designing a system for communication and transparency in the community. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to be, with the help of Austin and with Mike, we're going to be forming a web page that the residents can track our progress on RRC, or at least regaining the certification. Additionally, I'm going to be updating the DDA and the Planning Commission, and if City Council wants, I can update them as to our progress over time. So, at the very least, we are being transparent. We're showing you guys we do have plans, and we want to share our progress and our goals.
Not to get too deep into the weeds, but that feedback, was that about the city government as a whole, or as it relates to just redevelopment?
I would say as a whole. From what I've heard, it's been as a whole. I haven't heard one resident, it's blanket complaints overall. Not complaints, but it's blanket criticism overall. Yeah. Again, whether these are true or not, I'm just reporting what I've heard.
Yeah. No, and I'm not. The observation, I think, is a little out of context in
Yes.
that we struggle. I know since I've been here about the DDA, we've struggled a lot with getting information out. We put it out on the web, we put it out in newsletters, we put it everywhere, and nobody ever reads it.
Right.
So it's hard to be transparent if nobody's going to pay attention to what you're putting out there. So just, I think a little bit of context to that probably would be helpful too. So.
And it's also going to help too when we're coming up here and we're, telling everyone in open meetings and having these put on the record that these are out there. That's going to help too with, we have a paper trail now where we are being open and transparent about it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you really didn't get any specifics. I mean, like, as to why, or or examples of how the city broadly. I know we're talking. I think general city government was not being transparent. Like no specific example, just general.
Right, well,
Distance, yeah.
again, I don't have any specifics.
Yeah.
No one's shared any specifics, it's just blanket criticisms.
Yep,
So,
yep.
there is a second part that I do want to double back to with why I'm telling this, is that it is for you guys as well. MEDC has a number of training programs that we're going to need the DDA, the Planning Commission, and City Council to all take together. These trainings are going to be regarding best practices, development practices, green infrastructure, and a plethora of things. The hope is by March we can start setting up meeting dates for training, but we're trying to figure out if we need to have everyone available for these trainings, or if we can send a representative, 1 or 2 representatives from each board, each committee, to these and have them report to their respective boards. That's going to be up in the air, but I do want to let you know, be ready because this is going to be coming. So, quick facts about Lathrup's RRC history. We were actually certified RRC community, but in about 2021, 2022, we kind of lost it. The MEDC provided Lathrop's DDA with a checklist of goals to reclaim our certification. These were tackled sporadically over the course of the last 3 years, but now we're in November 2024, we received an updated checklist and we're going to be tackling it head on. About half of the goals overall have been met, but others still need work, and I'm going to go over what some of these entail. This is just a cursory glance list. I haven't included everything, but these are the biggest ones. To name a few, finalizing a capital improvement plan. The governing body is going to have to adopt the plan. Public participation plan, we do have this, but we should probably update it. The last time it had been gone over was in 2022, so I think we should probably modernize it. A housing diversity plan for zoning ordinances. There's going to be quite a few ordinances that are going to be coming forward. I don't know if the DDA or if the Planning Commission, Austin, has to take care of that, or both. But there's going to be quite a few ordinances that are going to have to be introduced. And these aren't, anything new. It's green infrastructure is creating a listing of approved green space infrastructure like trees, bushes, stuff for, shade and various parks and pathways and whatnot. Housing diversity plan, we do have this almost set. Multiple review processes for internal and external use. This is reviews for site plans and other review sets. Multiple community level outreach and education events. We are planning for this in springtime. And training sessions for DDA boards, planning commissions and city councils. That was what I mentioned earlier. So that is just some of what we have to do, just to give everyone kind of an idea of what we're tackling here. So how are we going to manage and achieve these goals? Well, the city, like I said, wants to be very clear and very transparent. Work's already underway to complete these goals, and we, like I said earlier, we are going to be updating the website and planning for training sessions with our boards. We do plan on adding a webpage where everyone can track our progress, and residents can view any meetings or dates and our presentations. You guys can also call us or email us if you have any questions. Austin and I are more than happy to answer any questions regarding any development practices, anything really that's going on in the city. We have no issue with this. So if you do have any questions, this goes to both our board and our residences. If anyone has any questions or any comments, please let us know. So that is my conclusion. My hope is to have everything completed by summer of 2025. Realistically, we are probably going to be pushing towards fall. But if we can get it towards the end of summer, I think that'll be mission accomplished. So I do, if anyone has any questions from both the board and the audience, I will take anything.
What's the process we're going to be recertified. You said it could take, summer, potentially the fall.
Yes.
Is it kind of a rolling process? How does that part work?
So it's a review
Grading
process. We check in with the MEDC whenever we achieve one of our goals. Like if we approve, get the green space infrastructure ordinance approved, we let the MEDC know, hey, we've accomplished this, and they will check it off.
Check
for
that
us.
box, and then,
Yep.
so we'll have okay, I got you. And then you'll just provide, whatever the tasks that we have to,
Yes.
gotcha.
Anything else?
So what's the one thing we think MEDC can do for us that we can't do without them?
Well, they provide grants. To
Okay.
be a redevelopment-ready community, it expands the grants that are available to us. And as a city, these are going to be grants for our parks, our sidewalks, grants for businesses, first time and small business owners to expand. This provides grants for them, and it also provides grants for us as a city to use. So there is more of a reason than just a fancy plaque that says we're redevelopment ready. There is a financial incentive for us as well.
Yeah, that's the best possible answer, thank you.
Yeah, and they don't they list our vacant properties as well,
Yes.
so it
Yes,
makes
they
it
do.
easier for potential suitors to find us,
Yes.
things like that, yeah.
Do we lose it because we didn't keep up on an annual recertification? It just went away, or was there something that happened?
I'm not aware of why we lost it. It was during the pandemic that if I'm not mistaken, it was during the pandemic that we lost it. So I'm assuming that something happened and it lapsed. Either that or there was something that happened. I'm just not aware as to how.
I definitely remember talking about the certification and being certified, so I don't know,
Yes.
I don't recall like making a decision, we lost it either. Maybe we just didn't do an annual process that we were supposed to do or something.
Yeah, I can chime in,
Yeah.
Tom. It is one of those things where you do have to check in with the MEDC every year, every couple of years, and if you don't naturally update the records that they necessarily need, you have a chance to have your certification be revoked, and unfortunately, that's what happened to the city.
So part of our process should include that annual update to make sure that it doesn't happen again,
Yes.
so.
Yeah, it was part of the chaos that we
Yeah.
had over the last several years,
Yeah.
with the turnover and everything
Yeah,
like that.
sure.
We have improved our line of communication with the MEDC as well. We are doing regular check-ins with them, and we do have plans on keeping that up. Once we have it, I do not plan on losing it. So,
Yeah, whose responsibility is that internally? Have we determined that?
That'd be my responsibility, and that's something that we're gonna take on in summer 2025, maybe a bit ambitious, maybe more summer 2026 because of ordinance changes that need to take place. Some of them, there's like 5 options of ordinances related to green infrastructure, and other ones related to housing types, and we need 1 additional ordinance for each. So 1 additional housing type and 1 additional green infrastructure ordinance. So we have identified some that we might propose, but with what the Planning Commission is handling right now and with different ordinances that are going, changes or updates that are going through there, it might be a bit much to push through at this time. So it might be later fall or summer of 2026. But it is something that we are looking to get back. And there were some changes to the program back in 2020, I believe. And we, as a community, did not adjust to those changes. So it's kind of catching up to those as well.
Got it.
Thanks, Tom.
Good job, Tom.
Next item is the consent agenda that include, and we've separated, the financials and the code enforcement. So start with the monthly financials.
Just one question, we used to have the treasurer show up to the meeting, are they gonna come to answer questions again at some point, or?
She's out for the holiday, but yeah, if you guys do want her here, we can.
That was
have her here.
helpful, I think, just to give a mini report and summation, I don't know, of the first.
No,
chair, but yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely, that was always helpful.
I didn't have any specific questions this week.
Fred, are you looking for a motion to?
Motion to
Approve the consent
approve
agenda.
the consent
approve
agenda,
it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Second.
But we separated,
Well, it's you list it out, but you still do it as
Yeah.
one
Got it.
fell swoop.
yeah. all
and there was
right.
nothing on code enforcement, I guess.
All right,
Okay.
so I so move and,
Got a
All right,
second.
made in support, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We can move to old business and new business and then revisit the public comment after that. That works, all right? Old business,
Nothing at this time.
any? New business. We have first the 2025 meeting dates, which, so we're consistent there, third Friday.
We, as a board, meet on the third Friday of each month at 12 p.m. here in council chambers on the second floor of City Hall. We intend to continue meeting at that time and on that date. The only thing to be aware of as you approve the proposed meeting dates is that in April, the third Friday is Good Friday. So the meeting will be occurring on the fourth Friday of that month. So it'll be April 25th. So just be aware of that.
Got it. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 DDA board meeting schedule as presented.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. All's in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Fiscal years 25 and 26 alleyway enhancements bid.
So we are getting ready to bid out the alleyway work that will be occurring in the DDA district. We spoke with our engineer last week, and there are a total of 7 segments still required to be finished between the 2 years. 3 of them will be on the east side of Southfield, and then in 2026 we will complete the other 4 remaining alleyway updates. It's mostly alleyway paving with asphalt work, with a little bit of concrete work on driveways entering into the alleyways, those approaches. But speaking with our engineer, we think we could find more advantageous bidding and get a contract that also would help with engineering oversight fees, project management on-site oversight fees, if we were to bid out these contracts together. And also, if, based on their schedule, if they're able to get work done earlier in the summer, they might be able to begin on the FY26 segments later in the summer. So we've come to ask that you permit us to bid out both FY25 and FY26 as a single bid instead of splitting into 2 different contracts.
And kind of piggyback off that, one of the reasons we're also looking to do this, as DDA knows, the plan is always to pay with this with fund balance. So from staff perspective, it just made sense if we only have these 2 years worth of work left, why not just do it all at once out of one bid? In reality, it's gonna get split over 2 fiscal years most likely anyways, just based off timing of construction. So why delay one set of alley an additional year? It's gonna be paid with fund balance anyways.
Sure.
Yep.
And in terms of the bid itself, who are we working with to prepare the bid?
Giffords Webster's
So
the city
Giffords.
engineer.
Okay.
So Jill's on the planning side, Scott Ringler is on the engineering side.
Okay.
So they do all the design work and they do all the oversight, and then once the bids come back, then it'll come back to you guys to actually formally select a contractor for the work.
Right, but you all are helping craft the actual RFP or
Yeah.
the bid. Okay.
All right. And does anybody remember what we budgeted this year for it? Was it?
This current fiscal year, I believe it was roughly like $340,000, something
Yeah,
like
around
that.
that.
Now, does that include work that was done since last July?
Some of
Or-
it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so it would be a similar amount probably next year, or?
So we're talking with Scott Ringler, our city engineer, really since next year, another reason we want to do this, next year, there's 3 very small alleys. It was going to only be, the estimate was like 170 grand this
Okay.
following year. So we're thinking roughly, we're probably around the $500,000 mark of remaining alleys.
Okay,
That's why we're thinking economy of scale and timing. Why don't we just do it all at once? Especially if the plan all along was to just use fund balance dollars.
okay.
What does this complete the alleyway project? I feel like we've been talking about this for 4 years, but
Yeah, these are the last 7 segments that are required to be
Have been
completed.
identified to be completed.
Yeah.
So we did pull some forward a couple of years ago, and
Yes,
it just
we did.
made sense from a standpoint. So you're saying one bid for 2 years worth of work. Do you think there will be any enticement to pull some of that forward to save some money at some point? Do you think that?
Potentially, the point of bidding it all at once is this, say, for example, we find a contractor and they're able to start in March. If they could get it all done before, and that's kind of the risk of doing this, is if they get it started in March and they can get it all done before July 1st, it's all going to be charged to this fiscal year.
Yeah.
So you're going to use up all your fund balance this year, but then next year you don't have to do any alleys, don't worry about any of that.
Sure.
Plus, you don't have to go out to bid twice.
Yep.
Lock in a rate.
Yeah.
So if rates go up, you typically will be locked in.
Okay,
All right.
makes sense.
So
Anything, any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve combining 2 fiscal years into one bid for our alleyway enhancements.
Second.
All right, so made in support. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C, the 11 Mile Road snow removal contract.
The contract would be for snow removal along 11 Mile Road in the service drive of 696, along with the overpasses that are between Evergreen and then just past Lathrup Boulevard, 1 block east of Lathrup Boulevard. We reached out to 9 potential bidders. We got 5 declined, 4 did not respond. We received 1 quote from Paradise Garden Landscaping, who does a lot of our watering services and landscaping services throughout the DDA. So we would like to have this contract run from December of 2024 through April 2025, and then we rebid it out to include those works that Paradise is already doing. So it'd just be 1 contract. So this would just be for 1 single year of snow removal.
Does anybody else recall having to pay for snow?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to ask that.
I do not recall
The
this.
DDA's paid for this for a while.
Really?
Yeah, it used to be Excel Landscaping who had this contract for a while, and DDA always covered the cost of it.
Yeah, and we reached out to them and spoke with them, and they declined to bid on this
And
contract.
at one point, we had that DDA cleanup crew. They were doing it, but then we couldn't hire people. We couldn't find people to do it.
To plow the,
What's the policy?
I mean,
It's on the sidewalks.
It's on the service
Sidewalks.
drives. Yeah. Not
Yeah,
I had the same confusion.
Yeah,
I had the same
sidewalks.
confusion when we were talking about it
Yes.
before the meeting
Okay.
started.
Okay.
That's sidewalks,
just
not
the
roads.
sidewalks adjacent.
Okay.
on-
Yeah.
All right.
on my
All right,
service drive.
So you mean that, yeah,
describe
you're
again
thinking
which
it's
sidewalks?
the-
Yeah.
The actual
It's the
overpass.
sidewalks
Yeah, I
along
was
11
like-
miles.
I was like-
Yeah, there's a
All
map.
right.
literally, the
So-
county drives across that. I'm like,
All
why
right,
don't
so
we leave
11
it
mile-
down?
No, sorry.
Every time
No.
they
Say that again, Pam?
Oh, okay.
11 Mile is both
Oh, okay.
private and privately owned companies and public land, right?
Mhm.
So are the businesses who are along 11 Mile obligated to keep their
Yeah.
sidewalks clean?
So Paradise has worked with us on mowing 11 Mile before, so they know what sections are adjacent to just city property. In the map, it's difficult just to highlight each individual square of sidewalk. But yeah, if you have a business or residence adjacent to a sidewalk, they are responsible for that sidewalk.
Okay, all
However,
right.
there's a lot that is adjacent to city-owned property or city right-of-way that DDA/city has to maintain.
Yeah, and this has been a
Okay.
complaint we've gotten for a long time over the years. This is 11 Mile, like getting 11 Mile cleared in the winter. But it did have one question. So
Yep.
I was a little concerned about. It says that salt is applied to all sidewalks and walk area at $35 a bag. So if we're talking 46,000 square feet, with the bag covering 2,000 square feet, we're talking 35 bags, which is about $820 per application. So that's actually more than the clearing fee.
Yeah, so that would be something that we could choose when we would like for it to be applied. And then 2 inches of snow would be required for them to trigger them coming on out and actually shoveling the snow and removing it from the sidewalks.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of money on salt.
Yeah, it's as needed, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody has to say, hey, salt that, it's a sure ice.
Yeah.
issues, so.
And what was kind of interesting when we were reaching out, those who responded, most of them were decreasing the services they provided and the amount of services they were provided. So they're actually decreasing. So they were, some of the firms were decreasing the number of trucks they had, others were decreasing the number of employees they had.
Doesn't snow as much.
So if we bid it out earlier next year and also include work that Paradise is already doing, I think we would get better pricing.
Interesting. Yeah, I was wondering why, I mean, so we ultimately, we got one response?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're looking for
Yeah,
approval on
there's
this?
a motion on this, yeah.
Do you know what we paid last year? Does anybody know what we paid last year?
Like I said, I didn't
Last year, it was $275 per removal and 8 to 12 bags of, or 8 to 12 bags were $20 a bag.
And just to clarify, that contract was locked in back in 2021.
2021, yeah. So
So
that's
probably why the
2021
prices were
pricing.
much more favorable.
Yeah.
125.
275 a push, and this is 600 to 900.
And that was 2 to 4 inches, what you're talking about, the 125?
275.
275,
Oh,
yeah.
275.
And this was also not for the entire 11-mile district. This was only for half of it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So part of it, the part east of Southfield was only for the south side, and the parts west of Southfield were just for the north side.
Okay.
You got a
I
shovel?
That's
Yeah, so this was the only bid we got.
the only bid we
It was
got?
the only bid we received,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Out of 9.
Can we put it back out there to see?
We could try to do it for a month if you'd like, and then if they're willing to do that and put it back out. But we reached out to most who were involved in the district. There was one who said that they were going to get back to me, and then they never responded.
So the only problem is delaying it a month.
Yes.
Takes up a third of the winter.
January, yeah.
Right.
But it's a big jump
Yeah.
from 275 to 600.
Now, there was something interesting when I was looking over the contract for the previous contract from 2021, was that it was only for the north side and the south side, depending on which part of 11 Mile you were on. We could do that again. I could reach back out to the contractor and ask them to do a quote just for those areas. So it would, that's twice as much space, so it would kind of bring it down to 300, which is
Yeah, which
25
isn't-
more than what
Right,
we.
but we really should be doing, I mean, we
The
get tons of
crossovers.
complaints every year about
Yeah.
11 Mile not being plowed after snows.
Mhm.
A lot of people who walk and still walk in the winter, and a lot of complaints.
Yeah, I mean, safety first, we do need to do this.
Yeah, lawsuit will cost us a lot more.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yep.
yeah, I just wasn't aware it was a DDA
Did
responsibility.
we ask them to do per push, or was that their idea versus a one-time fee?
That was what was done previously, so followed that contract structure.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I like the per,
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
unless it
Yeah.
snows 42 times, then
Yeah.
you won't like it.
yeah, right.
At least
but
from a
we got-
budgeting
Yeah.
perspective, it locks you into, hey, this is what it's gonna cost for snow removal versus this could get out of control. I mean,
It would require 2 inches for them to actually go and do the
Right.
snow removal.
if we follow the Farmer's Almanac, this should be fine, but I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make the motion to go ahead and approve Paradise Gardens' proposal for snow removal for this year.
Second.
Been made in second. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Let's go to public comment. We can slide that in here. Anything on the public comment?
Not in favor? Tom, can you make a note that Danielle is not in favor of the contract?
Rick Wiz, just two quick things. Talking about the alleys, and I don't know if it's, should be mentioning this to you or planning commission. Has there ever been any thought about making all the parking lots and the alleys continuous in one direction or another? When we lived in Virginia, you could get off the main drag and go from business to business just through the parking lots, as opposed to having to get out of a parking lot, back onto Southfield, back into a parking lot, et cetera. So I mean, if you decided on the east side of Southfield, all those lots, you go in one direction, and on the other side, you go all in the other direction. So nobody really has to go in and out of parking lots. That might make it easier for businesses. Just a thought. Another thought with the pushing on 11 Mile. Possibility of offering that service to the businesses along there and saying, okay, we're gonna be doing this anyway, but we'll include you for X amount of bucks. That way you don't have to worry about it. When it all gets done, it gets done. So just a way to supplement and make it easier on the contractor. And so he didn't have to say, well, okay, I'm at 28221, I've gotta stop because now the next person didn't pay for it. So now I've gotta go around and, you know, do whatever to avoid it. So, just a thought.
Okay, thank you. Okay, no one else. We'll move to the DDA Director's Report.
January 8th, the Main Street Oakland County is holding a training sessions for Board of Director training. So this is all for board and committee members. They are welcome to attend the training that will take place in Pontiac from 5:30 to 8:30 that evening. The first of the Tri-County training sessions for the local business community that we put on with Southfield and Oak Park is going to be taking place on February 4th. This is by Zingerman's. This is kind of a really well-known operation for doing training. They do trainings for the automakers. They do trainings for other large corporations. And it's going to be regarding the art of great service. So it is available. So anybody who's looking to sign up, I ask that you do it soon because there is a limited number of seats. And it'll be on February 4th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. In April, we are going to be hosting here in Lathrup Village succession planning training for the local community. I'm right now communicating with a financial advisor who does this type of training and scheduling a date for him to come out in April to do the training. There are a couple locations around the city I'm going to reach out to and see if they're willing to make an in-kind donation for space to actually meet. Or if it comes down to it, we can't find somebody, we'll do it here in the community room. Business resource training will be hosted by Oak Park in May, and Southfield will be doing a morning business mixer in July. There's been some infrastructure improvements going on here on Southfield Road. The posts and the electrical supply for the hawk signals are being installed. So you can see the large posts that have been installed out front of City Hall and north of City Hall. Property updates. Rita's Ice at 27601 Southfield Road has been given a permit for the installation of an awning and their permanent wall sign should be installed soon. And then 27800 Southfield Road recently did a roof replacement. To provide an update, the inaugural Lathrup Village Winter Festival was
That Rita's Ice, is that the East Coast Rita's Ice?
Yes.
Is that already open?
Yep.
Oh, wow, all
They're
right.
closed for the
yeah.
season, but they haven't
Yeah.
officially opened.
Wow, all right.
At the village.
Yeah, good crowd there too.
They were
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah,
Lathrup Village
it's
Music
very
Festival. They were there as one
I lived
of
in
our
Philadelphia for a
food
while.
truck
Big
vendors.
deal.
The Lathrup Village Winter Festival was a success. We drew about 75 attendees. Each of the organizations and committees that participated, we're going to welcome back next year and hopefully do the event for another year. seemed to be a hit for families, so we're hoping to do it again and make it an annual event. Again, the board training is being conducted by Main Street, Oakland County in Pontiac. So if any of you are interested in more training, we do have Jill from Giffords Webster here today to do board training, but there is additional opportunities. And then also the organizing of the music festival has commenced, and the event is scheduled for September 13th, 2025. So please save the date, and then the backup rain date will be September 14th, 2025. Chair, that concludes my report for the month.
Chair, I got just one little update for you guys that should have gotten to also include it. So the city recently had our financial audit completed. DDA is part of the component unit, so you're just part of our big document. But I just want to let you guys know the unassigned fund balance for the DDA as of June 30th is $971,000. It decreased about $150,000 from last year, but that was planned due to alley work. But overall, doing well with DDA and our finances.
Great.
A question, the signal or the cameras, how are we with the
flock
progress of?
flock
yes,
cameras.
flock
Yep.
cam-
So
yes.
we have one of them installed. The other 3 are working their way through the permitting process. They are in the right of way of the county and requiring additional review.
Okay.
So just spoke with Officer Zhang, Lieutenant Zhang yesterday regarding this project, and it is moving its way forward. So hopefully soon the other 3 will be installed. But the one signal that, or the one camera that is up, has helped solve a couple crimes and helped get a stolen car back. So
Nice.
the one
Yeah.
has already shown benefit to the community. So the other 3, I think, will be a great addition.
Excellent. Any further questions?
No.
All right. Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All right,
Second.
so we're adjourned. Thank you.
All in favor, aye.